So today we have Sanjay on with us. Sanjay and I and his partner Harmon, we had a training session a little while back. I think a couple weeks back, Sanjay, I think it was. And they're just really struggling with, I guess, the, lead quality in essence of um, when they're calling their leads, what they're finding, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Sanjay, if you want to have any input on this, is a lot of people, there's a lot of confusion or saying that they never signed up for this. Um, and we talked about, being a little bit more vague in our opening statements of our conversations of not indicating exactly which the website they signed on, versus using just generic like online terminology. And then they're finding that a lot of these individuals are indicating that they have an agent. So we did have a discussion about perhaps how we can ask those questions or discover that information without asking them directly, because as a lot of us know, a lot of buyers are liars and they tell us whatever it is to get us off the phone because they're not ready to have those conversations. Sanjay, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, some people would say, "Oh, I don't know who registered my name. My name is not that. My phone number is that."
Okay. So just a lot of confusion of them saying like it's not the right number. So they're getting leads where it's a valid phone number, let's say, but it doesn't belong to the person that they're calling.
Yeah, I think there should be a verification thing. Then it verifies it, and in that way, we know it's a same person.
Well, so we have to remember it's 2026. And from the moment our eyes pop open, I think the majority of us probably have our phones by our nightstand and we look at our phones immediately. Um, we're sold to literally from the time we wake up until the time we go to bed, or from the time we pick up our phone to the time we put down our phone. So not just sold to, but solicited to in so many different formats. I mean, look what Facebook has become. It's just a continual stream of sponsor more than it is in friends. When we're in that, we're just going to call that fight or flight mode. We're constantly in that defensive mode because we're so burnt out of being sold to, of everything that we think pops up in our freaking Google, pops up in our Facebook. I mean, if you just sit and think of, I apologize in advance for anybody on this webinar because we are going to be talking just about vacuum cleaners right now. So you just talk to your partner about a vacuum cleaner, you talk to your mom about a vacuum cleaner, you talk to whoever about a vacuum cleaner, and all of a sudden, vacuum cleaners take over your social media by storm. So it's getting worse by the day, by the week, by the months. And consumers are burnt out, and it's nothing personal because we're online. We have access to everything at our fingertips. We don't need anybody to help us make a decision to buy anything. Oh, but if you need an attorney because you got to go to court, you have to have an attorney. If you want to get into a home to see a house, you have to have a real estate agent. And they're not looking at professions anymore as I'm seeking a professional to help me make the best decisions for my life. I'm seeking a professional and I'm paying them freaking money that I shouldn't have to because this is a huge inconvenience in my life. So when we're dealing with consumers that have that 99% mindset, it changes our game and how we're having conversations with people. If we're coming into conversations already knowing that, and I've always said we have to eliminate our objections before they're actually there. And when we know what the consumer is thinking and feeling on the other end, we can help to eliminate the objections that are always going to arise. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to talk to anybody. They hate when their phone rings. It's annoying when your phone rings. How many people how often have you changed your ringtone because you get tired of hearing it because it became so mundane that you're like, oh my God, his freaking phone, if it rings one more time, I'm like going to throw it across the room. I got to change my ringtone because I'm tired of hearing it. And then even you change your ringtone, you're in a room when you hear someone else's ringtone that used to be your ringtone, you're like, oh my God, it's like that PTSD. So if we can understand that and realize, yes, they have an agent. Yes, that's not them. They're going to lie in any way, shape, or form. But if we can catch them before they can actually think about how to lie, that's where the game changes. And I think that's what Crystal was kind of talking about is if we can confront a conversation with really good questions, it helps them to feel more at ease that it's not, do you have an agent? Well, you were online looking at homes. It's, hey, I saw that you were online looking at homes. That's all they need to know. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you're the king of Canada, right? It doesn't matter who you are, what your website is, what you're selling, who you're selling, nothing matters other than I got your number because you were online looking at homes. Because our only objective is to find out where they are in their home journey, buying, selling, not doing anything, just being nosy, whatever it may be. Everybody has a reason. At some point from the day you're born to the time you die, you're going to move. That's a fact. Where do we fit into that journey? Are they in there? We'll call it the last home of their life, where carry me out in a wooden box, right? You may be dealing with somebody that's never ever going to move. They're in their home until ever and ever, amen. But you may have people that are going to be moving, but we've got to find out what their story is. So if we say anything other than when they pick up the phone, hey, I saw you were looking at www.com, blah, blah, blah website, they're going to say no. And if you say anything other than that's not me. So if we repeat their phone number back to them, if we repeat the email back to them and then make a joke of it, say, oh, did you make somebody mad and they used your name? Right? Because that happens. I've had it happen. You have a, not so happy spouse and they just sign you up for everything and you get phone call after phone call after phone call. Don't anybody do that.
No. I was even saying today, I have emails in my inbox and I'm like, I don't remember signing up for these, but it had some valuable information, but I was like, I don't remember signing up for this.
Sign up for this raffle. Okay, Crystal, I'm going to put your email address down there. You're just now signed up for that raffle and they don't know me from Adam, right? We don't know what people are doing, but if we can identify it and have fun with it, meet them where they are, not where we want them to be. It changes the game. So when we identify, the biggest challenge in this game, the number one biggest challenge is getting these people to answer the phone. Would you all agree with that? Right? It's just that's the biggest thing I hear. People don't answer the phone. People don't answer the phone. Why don't they? Because they are stimulated all day long. And the last thing they want to do is answer a phone number that they don't know who you are. So really, you're only getting people that are just more curious than anything. So they're already on the defensive because they know they're answering a phone to someone that they probably don't want to have a conversation with. So your odds of having that conversation go well are already minimized. We have literally 3 seconds to make that impression if they're going to hang up on us, if they're going to lie to us, or if they're just going to be very short with us. So those first few words out of your mouth is the key to keeping that conversation going. And I learned so early in the game, I created my own objections because, by state law, by real estate law, we have to disclose that we're realtors. We have to disclose our brokerage. We have to disclose our website. No, we don't. They signed up on our website. All we're doing is calling and finding out why they were looking online. Period. End of story. That's it. So when you're calling and they answer the phone in a very friendly tone, hey, Sanjay, I saw that you were online looking at some homes. Now you may get, no, I wasn't. Oh, you weren't? Let me just confirm your email address. Is this your email address? They may say no, say, well, I'm so sorry, but by the way, do you ever plan on buying a home? And just have fun with it. We're not going to win them all.
No. And
Ab-
and assuming it's the lead as well. So right. So one of the things that come across with a lot of individuals is them asking if this is so and so. Hi,
yeah,
is so and so there, or is this so and so? The moment you ask that question, the lead automatically knows that they have no idea who's on the other end,
right,
right? So their
right.
defenses are already going to be up right from the
Yep.
start.
But if you're like, hey, Crystal, you're like, okay, now they're trying to figure out how
Yeah.
do they know me? And then that defense goes down and then they get inquisitive. So they're like, oh my God, who's this person? Who's this person? Who's this person?
Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
And gone are the days because everyone has a cell phone now. So if you're asking if so and so is there, that's
Hmm.
just like flag number one, right? And especially like look at the email address because some people use their surname, their government given name, but their email address may be a different name. So if it's like Edward, but then their email address is Ed Joe Schmo, hey, Ed, then they're not going to think you're a stranger. And it subliminally creates that connection because they're trying to figure out like, do I know this person? Have I talked to this person? So I usually don't identify by name because honestly, I don't care if it's that person or not. I just want to know why they were looking online, period. So I don't even usually say a name. Sometimes I do. Hey, so and so, I saw you were online looking at homes. But if you're finding that that's an objection, that they're saying this isn't me, just go right to, hey, this is Beverly. I'm just checking in. I saw you were online looking at homes. So you're eliminating the name objection of them
Hmm.
saying, that's not me. Now they may say, I wasn't online looking at homes. So you didn't go online and Google and like home search for homes in da da da? Nope. Let me just confirm the email address I have because maybe I do have a wrong number. Confirm the email address. Yeah, that's my email. Do you have a family member? Do you have somebody in the family that may have been looking?
Hmm.
Sometimes people do that. They may have a family email address and one of the spouses is looking at homes and they're using the family email address. Now, can you get yourself in a trick bag because, the wife doesn't realize that she's used her husband's email address, but she's online looking because she's getting ready to leave him? Yeah, it's happened to me, but not my problem, right?
Yeah.
She created her own
Yeah.
problem. So, at the end of the day, we just have to be aware that these people are on the defensive whenever they're picking up that phone.
Hmm.
And our job is just to help them feel a little bit more comfortable in those first few seconds for them to decide that I want to talk to this person. And
Hmm.
that's going to come across based on how your energy is projected in those first few words that come out of your mouth. And again, less is always more. So it's making that connection and just going, hey, this is Beverly. I saw that you were online looking at some homes. No, I wasn't. Oh, so you didn't go onto Google, you weren't on Facebook, you didn't click on anything to look at any homes ever at all online. Nope.
Hmm.
Well, let me confirm your email address. I must have the wrong number. No worries. Oh, but by the way, do you ever plan on buying a home? And you never know where that conversation is going to lead you.
Hmm. Yeah. I know an agent got a listing by dialing the wrong number by accident. Like, and it was just an honest mistake, and they ended up getting a listing out of it. So
I
it
love
does happen, right? It
it.
does happen. You never know who's on the other end and
Never
what
know.
their plans are.
Never know. So when we ask a very, how do I say it, closed-ended question, you're going to get a yes or a no. And that's not where we want conversations to go because it makes it really hard to recover for the next question
Mhm.
when they are responding with a yes or no. So I like to kind of flank them and come in like around the question to
Mhm.
make them say something a little bit more. Because if we ask them, do you have an agent? They're going to lie, yes.
Mhm.
Well, here's the thing. Some people don't realize I have an agent because I'm out looking at homes and I signed a buyer agency agreement. I have an agent because I went to an open house and talked to an agent. I have an agent because I have someone sending me emails. I have an agent because my best friend's best friend is an agent, right? We don't know the agent that they have and what that relationship looks like. Because everybody's going to say yes because they just want to get you off the phone.
Mhm.
So the real answer that we're looking for is, have you been in homes looking with an agent and are you committed to them? Right? So how do we get there without being blunt? How long have you been looking? 6 months. Have you been looking online for 6 months, or have you been looking at homes feet indoor? Oh, I've just been looking online. Because again, we can't assume how long have you been looking? Well, I mean, I'm telling you, like you could be looking at homes online for 6 months and it feels like you've been looking for 6 months, right? They know the market better than you. So we have to really quantify what is their understanding of having an agent. You've got to realize you live, eat, breathe, and drink this business. You know what has an agent means, but that's not the same as an agent to them.
Mhm.
So if we know how long they've been looking, if we know feet have been indoor, then are you committed to an agent? They don't even know what committed to an agent means because ain't no agents explain buyer agency to their people anymore. So is anybody really committed to an agent? Not usually until that first offer is written is when that buyer agency agreement gets written for the majority of all the agents out there. Because most agents don't do the due diligence to sit down and go through, I'm going to call it the hiring process. Buyers are hiring you as a fiduciary duty to save and protect them. But we get it all messed up because we just think that, it's just expected. And it's not. If we explain it to them in the fact of this buyer agency agreement and this commitment is to hold me accountable to make sure I'm doing the job for you, because your job is not to go out there and find the homes and then bring them to me. My job is to find off-market homes that may not be out there on the market yet. Because when I know what your expectations are and I know what you want, my job is to take your expectation and meet the opportunity. And sometimes those opportunities aren't out there right here, right now on the market. So even if they do have an agent, do they have something signed in writing with that agent and understand that you are potentially the best agent for their interest? So I always take it a step further. If they say they have an agent, I just have to sleep at night because, man, I've heard a lot of war stories on buyers that have committed to agents. And if they had to do it all over again, they would choose another agent. So I just want to make sure you are 100% positive that that agent knows exactly what your expectations are and that they 100% have your back. And the sad thing is, when you ask that question, very few people agree that their agent 100% has their back and trust them 100%, because agents do not have the conversations. It's like the doctor and the client, or the surgeon and the client, right? You don't want to just go to any old surgeon if you need heart surgery that does liver transplants. So whenever we meet and understand their needs on the other side of the phone, that's all they care about. People just want to be heard today. And the more we can get them talking, the more that it helps to build that trust within you as the agent, which then comes down to being a really great question asker
Mhm.
and not the talker, because we have to find out where they are in the process. What opportunity do they need to see that's going to meet their expectations? That's the only way you have a deal.
Mhm.
And the timing has to be right. So when we're opening up that first initial conversation, when they answer the phone, that is your golden opportunity. So the tone and pitch of your voice is more important than words coming out of your mouth, because that's what creates the energy,
Mhm.
the way that your tone and your pitch is. And then stack the right words with those two things, and you have magic that happens. How can we learn how to do that? Recording your phone calls. listening to your phone calls. Would you talk to yourself if you called yourself? Answer is probably yes, because we're a little bit, we like who we are. We don't have to change who we are, right?
Yeah.
But when you're listening to it
Yeah.
and you're like, why did I say that?
Yeah. Yeah. Or you talk too fast, right? When we're nervous, we tend to talk really fast. We're just trying to get through it.
And
Or
talk
we have,
ourselves out of a sale.
yeah, yeah.
And
You're like,
I've done that. Like, I'm gonna give you all
yeah,
the information that you need. And now I've just given you permission to go out there and do whatever you want because now you don't even need me, right?
yeah,
Because I gave you
100%.
all the market information, all the detailed information. No, that's why we need to meet,
Yeah.
right? Less is more, less is more,
Mhm.
less is more. So I'm gonna open it up. And if you want me to jump into the website and make some calls, I would be more than happy to do that wherever we want this next 40 minutes to
Yeah.
go.
Sanjay, are you okay with her jumping into your system and taking a look?
Yeah, I have to go. I have an appointment at 11, but I'll
Okay.
try and do it from my phone.
Okay. So you might get a call back. Just know that, actually, let me just make sure because I seen a note on.
And I see someone mention background noise. I'm not hearing anything. I don't have
Mm,
anything in my background, so I'm not sure
yeah.
where it
So
might be coming.
Sanjay's Twilio. Did you cancel Twilio? Or is it through? Because you had Twilio.
I have to look.
Is it through Harmon's account or is it through your account?
My account.
Because your account is showing that your Twilio status is no longer.
Oh, probably I have to
Yes.
refill the money, put the money
Pardon
there.
me?
I have
Yeah,
to
because
upload. Yeah, I'll do it today.
okay. So we won't be making calls then because
Yeah.
she needs to she, she needs that there. But if anyone else, let me just save, let me see if I can push this. Yeah, you'd have to put some more funds in there. But yeah, if you
Yeah.
have to go at 11, then perhaps there's somebody else that's on here that's having similar struggles, or just for the value of learning how to open up conversation or handling the objection with the leads, we'd be happy to jump in your account and do that. John, you want yeah, we can definitely jump into your account if you like. Oh, oh, oh,
He's doubled
look at
in.
that. Yeah, he's double that. Perfect. So John, yeah, we can definitely jump into your account. I think we've done your account before in the past. But let me just find you in our system here
While
because yeah, I
she's
think this
looking,
is
John, any particular objections that you run up against? Um, and are you able to come on if she brings you on live? Are you able to unmute yourself and talk? Perfect.
okay. I was just making sure we
No
have all the
pressure, Crystal. Just
features.
just push all the buttons.
I know. Just making sure we got everything. Ah, that's not what I meant to do. Pushing wrong. I'm pushing the wrong buttons now.
I'm great at pushing the wrong buttons.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all? All right. So I'll just send that to you there. And we'll get you up that way. Were you able to get in?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Hello.
Okay.
Hi.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? I love this. You got 60
Good.
leads. We're going to keep it nice and clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I used to have like 200, some 50 or something, and I put them on archive because they have unsubscribed or they, whatever reason, no valid phone number or that, and I just clean everything and put them.
Hmm.
I don't know if I did something good or something bad, but
All right. So hang on. Now you've definitely piqued my interest.
They're all, yeah. Just trying to, I'm looking at his archive right now just to
Ah,
see
that's
what's
where
in
I'm
there.
going. Please tell me what I don't want to hear.
Well, a bunch of them are. So again, how I put it, like some of these databases, your leads have invalid phone numbers, but valid email addresses. You do have the feature within your system, of course, when you have Twilio is if they have a valid email, they're still going to receive those listing emails from you. But in order to access any of the listings, they have to provide a valid phone number. So you can essentially convert a bad phone number into a good phone number because they want to now access that listing. They want to be able to see it. And then in addition to that, you do have the bad number campaign that you can assign to those individuals that are just like a series. I think it's like 7 emails or 2 weeks that just kind of say, hey, it looks like we got something wrong here. A valid phone number is required. People will sometimes just go on and say, oh, sorry, updated it, or reply to that email. Here's my phone number, but please don't call me. Some people reply to the email with information about their home search, and some people ignore it altogether, right? But when we look at a database, and how I like to look at it is you have different types of leads. You have leads that you can call or only text or only call. You have leads that you can only email, and you have leads that you can call, text, and email, right? But all of those are valid points of communication. And at the end of the day, you guys are building databases. So if you have a bad phone number, but you have a good email and you've now put them into your archive, they're not receiving the regular communications. Or if you're doing blasts, they're not going to receive that. So there's always a way to take that invalid information to, spike some interest somewhere with some sort of information that you're sending, whether it's perhaps a mass text, a mass email, something outside of listings that initiates conversation. So the only leads we should be putting in our archives are the leads that we cannot communicate with whatsoever, meaning they have a bad phone number and or opt-out phone number, like do not call, and a bad email or an opt-out email. If you can't communicate with them in any way, shape, or form, that's your archive.
What about the one which unsubscribe themselves?
But you have a good phone number though. So you can still
Yeah,
call
but
that person.
they unsubscribe. Like I used to add leads from the open house, and as soon as I send them the first email, thank you for coming to my open house, and
You can still call them.
Yeah, but
Still
they
call them.
they just unsubscribe from the email and block the
And that's
phone number.
okay. Have you ever gone into your emails and just did like you had nothing better to do one day and you just went in and just mass unsubscribe from so many things that you signed up for?
No.
A lot of times when they unsubscribe, it's because we're trying to give steak to a vegan. So that particular email that was sent to them may not have been what they were looking for, but it doesn't mean that they're never going to be buying a home. So I'm always very careful, and this is why the tagging system became so completely important to me, because when you're sending mass emails out, if I'm in a $200,000 price point and I send out a blast email because this beautiful $3 million property's on the market, I'm gonna be like, really? Psh, I don't want it. Or even vice versa, right? If we're sending emails that don't apply to their situation, they're more than likely going to unsubscribe. And this goes back to what we were saying. We're constantly overstimulated with sales. Now, if we send out emails about events that are going on in the community that they're looking at, they may be interested in what's happening in the community and they may want to go to a farmer's market. They may want to go to a street fair. They may want to go to a particular movie that's being launched or whatever. I'm just pulling things out, but
Yeah.
we have to understand this is not just a place to house good phone numbers and good emails. This is an entire database of names, phone numbers, and or emails that we are building our inventory because we don't sell retail. Our retail, our inventory is the database of names of people that have always been online looking for homes. If they unsubscribe, Sometimes I've called people and they're like, no, I want the emails. And then you have to go through the whole rigmarole to resubscribe them. Because some people don't even realize that they do it. I don't know how they don't, but they don't. And then you have to resubscribe them. And then even sometimes whenever they jump, now Crystal, correct me if I'm
Mhm.
wrong. I jump online and I happen to start looking at some of the deals that are online, the under market value properties. And the algorithm remembers what I'm looking at and it kind of sets up my criteria and it starts sending me under market value properties when really in essence I was just curious. I'm in $1 million price range.
Mhm.
Is that true? Like it follows
If
the
they
algorithm
go,
what you search.
it wouldn't be, it would be based off of their searches are based off of the initial property that they looked at, unless they have a multi-step form. So if they were just kind of curious, doing a Google search for, power of sales, for example, and they get this list of, under market, which they're not really in our areas, but undervalued homes, TLC type homes, and it's really not what they would actually be looking for, but curious, that's what the site is going to sign them up for. And that's what they're going to start receiving on a regular basis where that might not, as you said, they could be in the $1 million home market. They were just kind of curious what was kind of in that category when it comes to power for sale.
So we can't assume that they did unsubscribe because.
Mm-hmm. And like, and I think the
Okay.
unsubscribe as well, like how many of us have, I know I've done it when you're going and we all got those, you guys have professional inboxes, but you sign up for different things. Agent Locator sends you things, other providers sends you things. And sometimes you just sit there and you go click, 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 and then you want to delete them all. And then you delete an email they didn't intend to delete. Right. So the same would go for the unsubscribe is you just kind of go, you get tired of it. You're just going through the motions of just trying to clear it up,
Yep.
and accidentally, erase something that you didn't mean to erase.
Yep. So what I just did, you had 900 and some leads archived, but only 60 leads in your like major, like what you're working. So that's like 97% of your leads are archived. And you're like, you gave over 900 people the middle finger. You're like, "Meh, I don't want you. I don't want to talk to you." Um, we're kind of cutting ourselves short. So what I did is I went to the phone validity where it's either a valid number or unknown. So what's happened in the database, this is a test lead. This did not get marked as a bad phone number. Same with this one. So we have some misconceptions here of these need to be archived. 100%, not a
Mm-hmm.
problem. ARSA, I can't see a phone number. We have it blurred out just to protect your leads. Now, invalid email address, that's okay. What we need to look at, because a lot of times there's typos. I can't see the email address. Crystal, if you want to pop it up on your side and take a quick peek at it, is there a typo possibly in the email address or is it just dead wrong? Because a lot of times we get Gmail because M and N are right next to each other. Sometimes,
Possibly,
sometimes
possibly.
you get .con, C-O-N, because N and M are right next to each other.
Yep.
Sometimes people typo their own name wrong.
There is a possible spelling mistake in her email address. Just with the spelling of the leads, because it's basically the lead's first and last name.
Okay.
But there's an additional letter that doesn't look like it belongs there, which would be right next to the same key on the keyboard of, yeah, of any
Yeah.
kind of communication. So I
So
just want to
here's the
see
thing. It's wrong today. If you take that letter out and it's still wrong, but what if it's right? So what I normally do is I copy, so I would copy this, I would drop it down the lead description, say change the email because it was wrong, and
I'm
see if
gonna
it goes through.
I'm gonna see if it allows me to because they're on archive. Should.
Well, you can
That's
move
not
her in the pipeline, right?
No, I can, yeah, but I think that one bounced. So I made the change and it did bounce.
Okay.
Did you know the comment?
Then you
Okay.
know, there's nothing more you can do.
Mhm.
So, but we still have a good phone number.
Yeah. This is look, if you go down to the map below, I think it'll show you where this is where they're located. And it shows that it's
Yeah.
valid. So I don't know if you try calling them through WhatsApp or what you tried to do to mark it as valid because text messages didn't go through. But yeah, when I look
Messages didn't go through either.
when I look at this database and I just put the phone validity as being valid, there's 619 leads in here with a valid phone number that are in your archive.
All right, so I'm going to go back. I'll take out the unknown.
If I put that their phone validity is valid and their email validity is valid, there's 455 leads that 100% should not be in here.
Email, validity, valid. Yeah, that's like the majority of your database, 455. And that's where it's kind of process of eliminating. So when you have like that 600 number was a big number or 700 number, now we're like process of eliminating. These are kind of top priority here in the regards of why are they here? So now I see status. Are these your open house leads?
No, that's just the
Yeah.
status. That's just that's a Google lead. That's just the status they come
Status
in as
open.
saying
Okay.
open. Yeah.
Google brand. Oh, here we are. Google, Google, Google. Okay. So talk to me on these didn't unsubscribe. Why are these in your archive?
There is anything under the notes there because I put notes if I told to them and they say we bought or something. It's sure.
I have one. Well, this isn't a Google lead. This is
I
a
don't see
manually
what
entered
you're
lead.
looking at because my I don't know what filters do you use to be there.
So
Yeah.
I hit pipeline archive. So you've moved. So in your pipeline, not set, new lead, tried to contact, non-responsive, made contact, could not buy. So you have all those things in your pipeline. So you've moved every single one of these leads to archive and you've blocked communication from
They're not getting, yeah, they
455.
don't get listings anymore. Some of them are very like old, but as we all know, the average lead is, 6 to 18 months if they have intentions of making a move. But you have leads that will all of a sudden, like 6 years later,
Yeah.
decide it's time, or 10 years later, right? It's, unless we're planning to get out of the business, it's building that database, and it doesn't hurt you to keep them in your system. As long as you're using filters, you can filter out exactly who you want to look at.
Yeah, and that's why we use the tags and the labels because they won't fall into your call filters, but they're still
Mhm.
actively engaged within the database if they choose to look at homes. But this way, they're never going to get an email.
Mhm.
So what's BOT engaged?
That's the AI bot. There's one here that the bot. So this one here is interesting. Gregory. He's on. Oh, are you on the first page?
I am.
He
Oh, you know what?
is.
I did it by activity, so I
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Gregory on the first page, if you were to do it. So Gregory here has a tag that needs follow-up. There's 25 text messages back and forth with this lead.
I can't undo the sort.
Yeah. And um do 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 do.
How old is the lead?
373 days old. It's
I'll
almost a
see if
year
they're
old.
going to show up. Gregory Dirksen.
Yes.
It looks like the text failed.
They started to fail. Yeah, they started to fail. that could have been a Twilio. He could have just had, I don't know if John could speak for that. If he ran out of Twilio funds, it's a possibility.
Yeah. I
Oh,
think that happened.
Mm-hmm.
But now I have funds, so it's okay.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
I want to call this person so badly. So how I would approach this lead, because it has been over a year. Hey, Gregory, this is Beverly. I'm just checking in. A while ago, you were online looking at some homes and just calling to see, did you ever end up buying anything, or kind of where are you? And you can even bring light to, hey, it's a little blast from the past. I'm just, following up on my database. It looks like you were online looking at some homes over a year ago. Did you ever end up buying?
Okay.
But we never have even given these people any opportunity as far as being able to hang in there. It looks like this was a reminder for July 8th this year, but yet he's an archive. Is there a place on here? Does it show you, Crystal, when it was placed into archive? Is there a way to?
Yes, he was placed in the archive. If you go down to go to where the pipeline is,
Right here,
it tells you exactly when he threw into the
July
archive.
8th. So you put him in archive the day that did you talk to him? And this was not long ago. It was only a
No,
few weeks ago.
he put him in the archive. It looks like he called him, text him, email, left a message, and then put him in the archive.
You gave him the middle finger. Come on, John.
I know I can do get better, but
It's like,
You're like, you're not talking to me. Do you know who I am?
screw
I'll
you.
show you.
Like, Gregory.
But at the end of the day, he won. Not you. Poor Gregory. I feel bad for him. And I have fun with people, and I'm like, don't make me put you in my spam. And people they like that, it's just kind of funny.
I
So
feel like you have to have fun with these people and call them like you got nothing to lose and take the
yes,
stress off yourself, and you can just have fun with it. Just have
yes.
fun with it.
But honestly, you have like 455 leads here that there's honestly some potential here.
And what I would do in this, because none of those searches are going to be on, right?
Yep.
They've all been automatically turned off. So to find these leads, so I would, well, obviously we want to pull them out of the archive. But I would tag them all, Beverly, maybe first, so that we know how to find these people now that they're
Right.
out of the archive.
That's right. Yep.
And then, you can even, do mass actions to them, try to get them back engaged in the website. Like that's an easy route to go. Or call them all, right? Mass texting. Hey, a while back you were looking at homes and it's like in the
And I think
9 mile area.
the easiest way to plow through 455 is blasting one email, because you're automatically going to remove probably 20% with one email. They'll be like, don't email me anymore, right? Like, good, okay, boom. I can park you wherever, but I'm not going to put you back in archive. But this is where your chat GPT comes in. I call them my counsel, right? Talk to your chat GPT and say, I have 455 leads that I archived that have not had any communication with, from, or around me for months, maybe some are years. What is an email that I can send out that would help to engage the masses so I can process of eliminate? And chat will probably give you like 3 or 4 options of emails to send out.
You can
And if
even
you like
ask
it,
for a
you have a
text
message for
as
another
well.
one.
You can ask for it
I
to
would
be
do
the same
email
text.
first. I would do email first and give it a time, because if you send 455 text messages, you better be prepared to respond. I would only do about 30 at a time. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't mass text. I would do the mass email and process of eliminate. And then whatever comes back with that, with their email, just filter them in accordingly based on tag. Archive, sometimes I think when we go to clean our room, let's just take it from the kitchen. When you go to clean up the dinner dishes, right? We clean up the dinner dishes and we put everything away so that the counters are spotless. And I think sometimes we get that kind of mentality mixed up with our database. Like if we just put them all in the cupboard and close the door, we never have to see them again because they're an archive. But in reality, we have to remember our database is like that grocery store. There are certain things that you go into the grocery store that you will never, ever, ever, ever buy. But if you're going to a party and someone asks you to pick up that said something that you would never, ever, ever, ever buy, aren't you glad they have it in the grocery store? So when we're looking at our database filled with all the varieties of every single style of Oreo that they have now, you just have a bunch of Oreos in your database, but you may never eat the lemon filled. But you may eat the lemon filled double stuff, right? So if we look at all of our tags as this is what has to happen with this person if they ever need an agent. This is what has to happen with this person if they ever need an agent. Well, this person has a bad phone number, so we're just going to put the bad phone number campaign on and let that do its thing. These people are retiring. These people are first-time home buyers. These people are whatever. These people just never responded. I've never talked to them, so they're going to stay in my call filter until forever. So we just have to look at categorizing and organizing instead of just putting everybody into one group, because now that everyone's in the archive, it's like, holy crap, 455 leads is a lot to work through in one jam. And that's why I like the tagging system, because it takes your leads and it condenses them down to a workable number. Now, if we don't have conversations with anybody and we have no idea what their situation is, they're not really in any type of aisle or section of the aisle. They're just in there to be shopped. That's where they fall into these call filters up here, because you've never spoken to them. And our only job is to just figure out where they are in the process so we can put them on the shelf to shop them later. But if we never have the conversation or never give them the time of day, we'll never know. So absolutely 100%. I love like just tagging archive, like create a new tag, archive, tag all 455 of these people. Me, I would start calling through one at a time. Like I would take a page a day. Whoop. Literally, if I activated that phone number right now, it's 25 seconds next, 25 seconds next, 25 seconds next. So send out that mass email and then start clicking away at calling them. And then you can just set your filter that haven't called within the last 30 days. So then they'll start filtering through, and then you can start moving. If it is a genuine bad phone number, you can start organizing these. But I can guarantee you 110%, a few of these people have already bought and it was a missed opportunity, and a few of these people are getting ready to buy.
I know there are few which I spoke on, I called them and they say we already bought, and I try to offer them like, oh, do you want me to keep emailing you and send you the sold listing in the neighborhood and blah blah blah. It's,
Yeah, well,
okay.
And they're not usually going to do that, but I'm not going to get rid of them because it's good data. Yes, they may have already bought, but you never know. I just sold a house last July. They reached out to me and they're ready to sell it because he got a job offer in a different state and never expected that to happen, or he wouldn't have bought the house. Things happen with people that they decide to make a move and they didn't expect it whenever they're on the phone with you. But if you remove your brand and remove your name, you're removing any potential or possibility of any chance of them reaching out to you. And they'll just go Google search again. And we forget what happens behind the scenes. You know, funny story short, my husband and I went to a seminar It was January of 2022. We went to the seminar. My husband, he's just one of those guys that everyone remembers because just he looks like Guy Fieri. So he makes an impression the first time he meets people. So we're out to dinner with Jake and Melissa, the two people that were leading up the convention or the seminar. And there was probably like 15 of us that were out to dinner. And my husband's a chef. He was back in the kitchen meeting the chef people, brings one of the chefs out and starts like explaining the chef's story. And the next day, Jake, the guy running the seminar, brought my husband up on stage to make a point of how people like to be treated, right? We have lost touch with Jake and Melissa since January of 2022. He jumped into a webinar with him last night. This is 4 years later and some months. You know, when you're in a Zoom, I can see your name, John, right? You can see my
Yeah.
name, Beverly Ruffner. Jake was like, oh my, now it was just Mark. He's like, oh my God, Chef Mark, how is Beverly? 4 years later. And he's like, how did he remember us? When you make impressions with people and people see your name, because we're social media, right? We're Instagram. So they probably see my Instagram, they probably see Mark's Instagram. But silently for 4 years, not having a clue that they would remember who we are. That's the impact that we have on people. And when we remove that ability that we have to make impacts on people, we're only cutting ourselves short. Our only job in this whole entire life is to help other people feel safe and create an experience for them to remember, period. If we all led with wanting to create a safe, great experience for people, this would be a hell of a different world. So, like I opened up this whole webinar today, the energy in which we bring to the table when that person answers the phone, the way that we say it, the tone of our voice, the care that we're bringing to the conversation of genuinely caring about Brianna. Brianna, you were looking 4 months ago. You were looking in the Brampton area. Just wondering, did you ever find a house? Or it could be, hey, Brianna, I saw you're online looking at some homes online. Who would you rather talk to? Christine, this is Beverly. I'm with blah, blah, blah real estate agent, and you were on www.blablablahomes.com, and you were looking at homes yesterday online, and I see you were looking at 123 Main Street. Are you buying a house? They don't care, and they're like, whoop. But hey, Christine, I saw, gosh, a year ago, Christine, you were looking at homes online. Did you ever buy a house? Can you feel and hear the difference in the tone?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to remember, how frustrating is it whenever you go out to dinner and you sit down and you get horrible service, and then when you have the server come over, they're like just not happy. It sucks. They're making, well, how do I say this? The energy that they're expending to get to work, to go through the motions at work, are exactly the same as it would be to put a smile on their face or to be grumpy. But the shift of the experience that person could possibly bring to create a completely different environment. And that's how we have to look at ourselves as real estate agents. If we can just take one of these conversations and try to make the world a better place. And I trust me, we just went through one hell of a sales transaction with multiple liens on a property. I mean, it was just ugly, ugly, ugly. And I was talking to the title company and I said, you know, it's so funny in the real estate industry. Everyone thinks we make buku dollars. But in the reality, if we look at what we make per hour, we don't make shit. Because at the end of the day, you don't get paid to do the job. You get paid when the job actually fully transacts. Because how many deals do we lose at the 11th hour? This industry beats the hell out of us. And for us to be able to show up for people and genuinely care about their situation, their future, their experience of where they want to be, this world's hard enough as it is, let alone just trying to make a sale happen. People just want to be heard and people just want to know that you care. And the main question is, how we as very different individuals living very different experiences, how do we come across to these 455 people? Are we looking at going like, oh my God, I got 455 freaking people. I just want to get the hell through it. Hey, Brianna, whoop, no, didn't answer. Whoop, next. No, oh, thank God they didn't answer. Okay, now I got a text message. All right, I'm done. I'll wait and I'll do it tomorrow. Or are we looking at our database going, oh my gosh, I want to save these people. Let's have some fun with this. Out of 455 people, I'm going to guess out of 455 people, I'm going to knock out, let's see, 20, 40, 60, 80, 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 40. I'm going to knock out 30, 60, 80, 90. I'm going to knock out 100 bad phone numbers off the bat. I know 100 are going to be absolute confirmed bad phone numbers. And have some fun with this. I know out of 455 people, I'm going to have 125 conversations. And break it down into minimal, like bite-sized chunks and make it a science experiment. Not being attached to the outcome because you've already lost 455 leads. So anything that happens out of this, if you save one of these people to get an email to them, you win. So how can you challenge yourself to have a little bit of fun and make it more like, I'm so guilty of the online games. I just found a new one and it's really, really fun. It's like this matching thing where you have to like put 3 things together and then they got like beat the timer. It's really addicting. And that's always been my thing. If I could make calling leads like this, one of those online games, and make it addictive. Oh, just one more. Just one more. Just one more. Just one more. Right?
Do the like yeah, have to do the gamify of your online leads. Gamify it for yourself somehow.
Give yourself a boost star. You just made 10. Because what is it like? You're on a win streak. Like you won 3 sets in a row. Like you get a bonus, right?
Right.
What's your little bonus? Like have a bunch of M&Ms out there, and when you make like 3 calls, you're like, "Oop, I get an M&M," right? Have a reward system and just have fun with it. Because here's the thing. You're not sitting at a closing table right now. You're not sitting at a listing appointment right now, and you're not with a buyer in a home looking at homes right now. What's the next best thing? Calling your leads. So if we want business to happen, and I think a lot of times, and I'm so guilty of this, I look at all my potential and I'm like, oh, I know if I call all these leads, I'm probably going to get a sale. I liked hanging on to that potential and possibility. But oh my God, if I actually make the phone calls, what if it's not true? Right? What if they hang up on me? What if they tell me to go F myself? Nothing changes because you already lost them anyway.
Yeah, you've really got nothing to lose, so have fun with it.
Yeah.
It's like just call them, have fun. There's people here I can guarantee. Like I was looking through one of the chats and you know, and I don't know again if all the communication hasn't been updated, but they were a ways from being able to purchase because they were about halfway to their down payment, which was a hefty down payment to begin with. I think it was Brianna actually. And then, yeah, I think, I don't know if the communication just stopped or again, it was one of those things where you just kind of gave up on it
Yep.
because of activity or what it might be, right? You
Yeah.
just keep trying. Just got to keep trying. That's all. That's all we can do.
I really hope that we encouraged everybody that if you have, go in your archive.
Yeah.
If it's not bad phone number and bad email, get them out of archive.
Yes, and so there is a question from Marina. If they are in the archive, 100%, because that's a pipeline status. So you just have to, you can even do that in a mass action, or you can do it one by one. So if you pull them up and you just start kind of like how we have this list for John here, start going through them one by one, kind of getting them out. You can just switch that pipeline status to, tried to contact, right? Whatever the last previous one was that was on that lead, just move it back to that, and it'll pull them right out of the archive.
And tag them so you know, because that's your
Yeah.
reward, right? Because when you get a hold of them, like, oh, I pulled them out of archive. Look at me go.
Yeah,
Right?
because you'll have to turn their searches back on, and like if they have like they pause, the searches just stop, so they're not getting anything. So you'd have to hit play on those searches. So just bear that in mind, or in
Well,
some cases you
and
might be
now,
re-updating them anyway.
now that you're even saying that, like, oops, I had a system outage. My email stopped sending, right?
Hmm.
Send another email. Go, hey, my email stopped sending. I'm so sorry. Are you still in the market to buy a home? Talk to chat, talk to counsel.
Yeah.
David asked a question here too.
Hmm.
What of those that said they are on hold for now? Who isn't on hold for now? Like the majority of your leads are on hold for now. Like
Hmm.
especially like those were the COVID days. Well, I'm on hold for now, right?
Hmm.
We want to know what has to happen for them to be able to make that purchase. So, okay, you're on hold for now, but what has to happen? Right? Are you on hold for now? 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 10 years?
Hmm.
Do we have a time frame? So you can put them tagged as on hold, but I would absolutely have some kind of reminder, have something on there that's going to alert you and ask them. Do not get off the phone with them until you find out when would you like me to follow up with you? What can I do to help you during this on hold time? What is the most important information that you would like to receive? Right? Put it back on them and follow up whenever they tell you to follow up. And the surprising thing is, whenever I start asking people, oh, we're not buying for a while. Okay, well, when would you like me to follow up with you? Well, you can call me next week. What? Right? So then you
Yeah.
start getting the real meat. Well, how would you like me to follow up? Right? Because you want to eliminate your own objection because I'll set a reminder to call them back next week. And I'm like, I just freaking talked to them last week. Like, why am I calling them this week? I talked myself out of calling them again. So if I have that conversation with them, I can't talk myself out of calling them because I've had really good notes. I know exactly why I'm calling them. So on hold is just a not yet. So it doesn't mean they're not a good lead. It just means, hey, I'm taking a hiatus.
Mhm.
And everyone has a right to. I mean, look at your own buying habits, y'all. You don't just wake up and go, I'm gonna buy a house today. I don't know.
So when I start, sorry to interrupt you, when I start to calling them, I'm a master of talking myself out to talk to the lead. Like I have so many reasons to not call a lead. Like I look at what they look at it, and oh, they don't open emails. Okay, I don't call them. Oh, they don't look at the property in the last 2 weeks. It's not good. Or they don't. They look at the property for 300,000 and one from $1 million. They're not serious. A million of reasons. I have like we can stay here all day and just
Stop judging people, John.
Mhm.
Stop judging. Lead with curiosity, right? If we lead with curiosity, it's a whole different mindset of, wonder why they were looking at that and then stopped. Wonder why they were doing that and did this. So if we're leading with curiosity, that's where we're going to get the questions. But if we lead with judgment, we're already labeling them. And I can guarantee you, without a shadow of a doubt, you're wrong. Sorry. We're only judging people based on our own life experiences.
We
They've
don't,
had,
and
completely different
And
life.
really, that those if they're looking at low property values, we don't know the reason why. This could be a second or third investment property for them. So you might be sitting on a gold mine of a lead that turns into several opportunities, but if we're judging them based on that one property or the properties that they're viewing currently, again, you're shooting yourself in the foot,
Mhm.
closing the door on yourself before it even opens.
Yeah. Yeah. So just catch yourself whenever, because trust me, I've been there, done all of this. I would sit there and I eliminate because I didn't want to pick up that damn phone because it was 3,000 pounds. And then you activated the dialer and you got speakerphone, so I
Mm.
couldn't use that excuse anymore. But I would sit there and go, well, they're looking at these homes. These are shit homes. I'm not gonna waste my time on these people. Like, why do we do that? And we just pick up the phone. All we need to know is what's their story. Period. So that's the tagging system, right? Like I had to be able to I can't stand a clutter of a mess when I go into a grocery store and everything's not in its proper order and fronted properly, right? So I look at my database just like I would stock shelves. I don't want a whole stockpile back in the warehouse to be all of my leads. I want to get that warehouse emptied and I want everyone stacked right on the shelf, front surfaced. So the more conversations I have, the more full my tag buckets get with, okay, first time home buyer on hold, shitty financing, retiring, divorcing, whatever the reason may be for all the just looking for this year, just looking 3+ years, whatever it may be. I have everybody organized. And then it's up to me to communicate with those leads that are in those buckets. But yeah, I would read through everything and I wasted so much time because my goal, I'm like, I just want to call 40 leads today. I couldn't get through 5. A, I would talk too long on the phone. B, I would read too many notes. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. 25 seconds next, 25 seconds next, 25 seconds next, and then pick up. So have the conversation with whoever picks up the phone. And just leave with curiosity. That's probably my biggest theme for today.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I
Thank
have
you
to
for
change my
jumping
mood.
in.
Yeah.
Get those leads out of archive and come back and see us next month.
I feel like there's gonna be more people on this on this webinar that are going into their archive now and checking to see what's in there, right?
That was so beautiful. Thank you so
Yes, it
much,
worked.
John.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a nice
Awesome.
day, and thank you
You
very
as well.
much.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Beverly.
Thank you.
Bye.